So I will be doing a ranking of the characters from Persona 5, Persona 5 Royal, Persona 5 Strikers, and Persona Q2. As you can see here, we have all the tiers for these characters. So we have on to Kamiki, the Lover's Arcana of Persona 5. And she's my favorite female in the game. She isn't my favorite character from Persona 5, but she's a great one. She's an A tier because I like her design. She has a great confidant. Her confidant gives you some pretty good perks, and I like her persona design. Although I feel that after Kamoshida's Palace, she doesn't have that much to do, and her confidant does start to wane after a little bit. But other than that, I like her. Next, we have the protagonist of Persona 5, Akira Kurisu, or Renamamiya. I don't have much to say, but he's S tier. I love the protagonists of these games, but I think that the P5 protag is my absolute favorite. Then we have the protagonist's best friend, Ryuji Sakamoto. He's going in the S tier, that much is obvious. He's got a really good persona. The persona's design is fantastic. I love Ryuji. His confidant is absolutely amazing, and same thing with his abilities that were revamped in Royal. Ryuji's VA, Max Middleton, does a fantastic job, and he's the most useful Phantom Thief in my opinion. He's also my favorite character in the Kamoshida arc, and that's about it. Next, we have Yusuke Kitagawa. Just like with Ryuji, his voice acting is absolutely amazing. His awakening is in my top 3 favorites. It's so good. He's also delightfully eccentric and has a really sad backstory. And then that moment in Strikers with Natsume that I won't go into for spoiler reasons. It's so good. Next, we have Sumire Yoshizawa, the new girl in P5R. And I don't really know how to feel about her. I like her character, but I do think she is pretty overrated. The devs also put Sumire in this game pretty well without it feeling forced. Next, we have Morgana. Morgana is the tutorial, essentially, and the first ever teammate you get in Kamoshida's Palace. At first, in the base Persona 5, I would probably put him in B or C tier. I never hated him. My brother's obsessed with him. And I do think he is a good social link. I think he's a good party member. I think he has great skills. But that one moment in Okumura's Palace, I hate it. It sucks. So I'm going to put him in S tier just because Royal did a much better job at that moment, and I grew to like him more over my playthrough. However, that moment still does suck. Makoto Nijima is pretty easy for me. She's D tier. She has some pretty good skills and her defense is pretty good, but she's not a good healer, at least not as good as Morgana. My biggest problem with Makoto as a character is her social link. For some reason, it doesn't focus mainly on her, but rather some girl named Kaiko or whatever. And after Kanoshida's Palace, I just completely stopped using her, so I'm gonna put her in D tier. Kasumi Yoshizawa, the other new girl, I'm giving her a C. She's just pretty boring. Next, we have Haru Okumura. I'm going to create a new tier just because of how much I don't like this character. This new tier is going to be F tier. And she will probably be the only character in F tier. I hate everything about her. I hate her design. I hate her voice. I hate her confidence. I don't care about her. If we could get a bad ending for this but keep on going with the game as originally planned without Haru, I would do it. I fucking hate her. F tier. Next, we have Goro Akechi from the base Persona 5. I don't know where to put him on, if I should put him in S tier or A tier. I liked him a lot in that game, but I do think he had a lot of problems, such as his social link being automatic instead of something you have to do manually, which was thankfully fixed in P5R. But I really don't know where to put him. I guess I would put him in A tier. We have P5R Goro Akechi, more specifically third semester Goro Akechi. He is S tier, absolutely. He was my favorite new character in this game with the 3rd tier specifically, and is the best navigator in the series. Next, we have Futaba Sakura, the navigator of this game. I hesitate to put her in B or C. I think she makes way too many goddamn video game references, though. It seriously gets on my nerves, especially in Strikers. Ooh, the RNG gods smile upon us. I do like her social link. I like her palace. It's got my favorite art style. I love the old Egyptian scribbles style, and I do like the puzzles. I do like Futaba's trauma and how she awakens to her persona. All of that's great. But I will give her a C tier, as I think they're better. Next, we have a new character from Strikers, that being Sophia the AI. I love Sophia. She is so cute, and her awakening is so cool, and you really feel bad for her. And her voice actress is phenomenal in her role. The only thing I don't like about Sophia is her persona, Pandora. Doesn't look good. That's about it. Next, we have Zankichi Hasegawa, the other newcomer in Strikers. I love Zankichi. He is such a clown, but I mean it in a good way. He's always funny. I don't think a joke that he's told, or has been the butt of a joke has not been funny. But then whenever you get to Osaka and you meet Akane, his daughter, and how fractured their relationship is, and then Zankichi's dead wife and Akane's palace, jail, it's just so good. I love everything about Zankichi, especially his awakening and his persona design itself. Valjean is such a perfect persona for Zankichi, so I'm giving him S tier. So, next up, we have Coach Hiraguchi. I like her design. I don't have an opinion on her, so I'm going to make a brand new tier called Not Applicable. When I don't have enough information to go off of as to whether I actually like them or not, they'll go into the non-applicable tier. And she has the honor of being first in non-applicability. Good job. Then we got Do from Persona Q2. Once again, he's going in non-applicable. He has 0 dialogue, but I like his design. Next, we got Mishima from Persona 5. I love Mishima. I don't know if I should put him in A tier or S tier. Mishima's Confidant is great. I like the fact that it's not like a traditional Confidant in this game. It's very similar, but it does have some breaks. I like how you don't have to fight Mishima's shadow. Instead, you just talk to him and he changes himself. I think that's really, really, really cool. I also think that the Confidant does build up to Mishima becoming more, what's the word I'm looking for here? Selfish, I guess the best word would be. Pretty well. It does that pretty well. Next up, we got Tanaka from Tanaka's Shady Commodities. He is also going in non-applicable. Next up, we got Shinya. I really, really like Shinya. I think he's got a good Confidant. I like his design. I do think his voice can get a little grating or annoying at times. But he does give you great perks, such as the ability to break gun resistances on enemies. That is really cool. And he gives you a bunch of other cool perks. So, I'll give Shinya an A. Do I want to give him an A tier or an S tier? Alright, I'll give him an A tier. Next, we got Shiho Suzui. She should have been in the game more, but I like her scenes as we do, and the game does a really good job of making us feel bad for her as well as introducing us to An as well, so I'm going to give her a C tier. Next up, we have Dr. Maruki's friend. I forgot his name, but he's going in non-applicable. So next we have Sumire and Kasumi's father, Shinshiro Yoshizawa. He's in one scene and is mentioned a few times, non-applicable. Alright, next we got the SIU director. He's going non-applicable. Next up we got Rumi. Rumi is, spoiler, Dr. Maruki's girlfriend. She is important to the third semester, but we only see her once, if I remember correctly, and that's really about it. But I'm going to put her in CT. So we got Nagi from Persona Q2 going in non-applicable. Okay, next we got the Stalker Shadow. I don't remember his name, but he's important to Madarame's dungeon. I'm going to put him in non-applicable. Okay, so next we have the teachers at Shujin Academy. They're also going in non-applicable. The most we know is that the old man, I forgot his name, but he's the male with the glasses, has a grandson. We have Human Morgana from the third semester, non-applicable. We have Shadow Futaba, once again, non-applicable. We have Wakaba Ishiki, non-applicable. Okay, so next we got Tornosuke Yoshida. I love Yoshida. His voice actor, fun fact, also voiced Rigby from Regular Show, which is pretty cool. I really like Yoshida's confidant. The abilities he gives us from his confidant is really good too. So here we have Tai Takemi. Her confidant's fine. It's not great, but it's also not bad. I like her design and her music theme. Butterfly Kiss is pretty good, so I'm giving her B tier. So next we have the prosecutor Sainijima. I'm not that big a fan of Sai, if I'm being entirely honest. I think she's pretty mid, so I'll probably give her a D tier. So next we have Sojiro Sakura, who's an instant S. I love this man. His confidant is great. His abilities are great. He's very entertaining. Next we have Iwai. Iwai is the gun dealer in this game. S tier, but I don't know where I want to put Iwai. I'll put him in between Yoshida and Soju. Alright, we got the final boss of the base Persona 5, Yaldabaoth. I'll give him a B tier because his fight was really fun and he's got a banging theme song. Alright, we have Haru's abusive fiancé. I'm putting him in non-applicable. Next, we have Sadayo Kawakami. B tier. I like her confidant. It's really good. I like her confidant abilities. That's really good. But she's just not my favorite. Okay, next is Masayo Shishido. I'm going to put him in S tier. Next up, we have Lavenza. She has very little screen time, but I like her more than Caroline and Justine, so Next up, we have the Doctor, Takuto Maruki. Maruki is an easy S tier. Alright, we have Kwan Ichinose from Persona 5 Strikers. She's a pretty good late villain, and I do feel bad for her, so I'll give Ichinose B tier. Alright, we got Mika, On's model rival, going in non-applicable. We got the police commissioner from Persona 5 Strikers. Once again, I'm putting her in non-applicable. Alright, we got Maruko Hyodo from Persona 5 Strikers. I'm putting her non-applicable. I don't really have an opinion on her. Alright, we got Principal Kobayakawa. I'm putting him in non-applicable. Okay, so next up is Kamoshida Man from Persona Q2. A tier. He's a fun boss. I love his design. I love whenever he would go, Kamoshida Man! My only real criticism would be that the boss was way too hard for a beginning boss, but outside of that, it's great. Okay, so next we got, I believe, Justine. I put her below Levent. So, next up we got Awada from Strikers, D tier. Alright, Jose, the new kid in Strikers. I'll put him in C tier. Alright, Igor is going in non-applicable. Next up, we got Suguru Kamoshida, the first ever boss. He is S tier. I have a problem with this game slightly, that being every boss after Kamoshida up until Dr. Maruki isn't as good as Kamoshida. They do everything in their power to make you hate Kamoshida, and they do it so well. Next, we got Ichirusai Madarame, an excellent follow-up to Kamoshida, just not as good. Alright, we got Kaneshiro. He's going in D tier. He sucks as a villain. Like, Kaneshiro sucks in this game. He's not a good villain, outside of Makoto's Awakening. Alright, next we got Hikari from Persona Q2. She's C tier. We don't know enough about her until the final dungeon of Q2, which makes sense considering what they were going for, but it still does hurt her character. Next up, we have Caroline, I believe. She is above Justine. Next up, we are going to do Ongo Natsume from Strikers. He's an S tier. I said this before, but the moments with Yusuke where Natsume disrespects the Sayori and, like, whatever, Natsume has this change of heart and you and Yusuke rush up to the scene and Yusuke tells Natsume to keep on going with his writing. I fucking love those scenes. Alright, next up we got Alice Hiragi, the first jail owner in Strikers. She is a great villain. Akane Hasegawa is going in S. Next up is Akira Konoe, S tier. Next we got the fortune teller in Persona 5. She's B tier. I don't have much to say about. Next up is Hifumi Togo. I like her, but I don't have much to say, so she's going in B tier. The final character is Ouya. I'm not the biggest fan of her. I don't like her design, and I don't like her confidant abilities. They suck. So she's going in D tier. Alright, I hope you enjoyed that video. If you did, please like and subscribe and follow my Instagram.